Good morning, guys. So I'm here, it's actually Sunday. I'm going to spend a couple of 3 hours here just doing a bit more cleanup on this, hopefully, so I can get this etched tomorrow, Monday. Because I did that car show yesterday, which, you know, by the time I went into town and bits and pieces and then got back out here, it was lunchtime. And then we were going to do the, I sort of actually forgot that we shifted an hour in time because of daylight savings, because we were going into a summer spring period. And so yeah, we were doing the live with Heidi and Arco, but yeah, I actually forgot that I was actually an hour ahead of what it was the week before. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, so we got that done yesterday, so that sort of filled in Saturday pretty much. So I thought I'll come down here for get an extra couple of 3 hours and try and get that a more really close to being prepped. So we've actually got, see the owner of the shed, it's got the manifold set up for the ear, which is absolutely awesome. So at least when I spray, we'll get a chance of getting as little moisture through the lines as possible. So we've got the 3 taps on the bottom to help drain, obviously, and collect, and I'll also get the filter up there. So anyway, I'll do some work and come back and see you shortly. Right, I gotta stop freaking recording stuff in 720 because I dropped the resolution back to send Arco messages on our the Voxer thing, so I can get a longer video. And I keep forgetting to change it back, and I have to keep stretching the videos out to pain in the butt. But anyway, I'm just painting this rust converter stuff on here. I've done basically in here. I'm starting to go up over the top. I just got to get my box so I can stand up a bit higher. I've done any of these spots that were sort of had quite a bit of rust or were old metal, you know, to try and get it back. Obviously in here, I'll just, you know, well, basically I'll let it dry. I've done a lot of this back part where it was quite rusty around the bottom. In here was pretty good, but I will paint probably the worst of it. You know, and then I'll do down here as well. I just haven't quite got that far. The only panel I've really got to clean up on the is this piece on the back, and in here I've got to give that a go. I've sort of done the worst of the rest of it, if you know what I mean. But you want to get this painted with this crap and let it do its thing, and then hopefully by, you know, not long before lunchtime I can go over it again and clean it all off between one of these Scotch Brights and a wire wheel. Hopefully I'll get it all off again, get it all cleaned up, ready to go. Yeah, we're just trying to work out what these funny little things are for. I just heated them up because they were seized. Let's try and free them up. I'm probably going to have to do it again. But I think there's something to do with having the hood up, the sides up and stuff like that. But I don't know, the weird there. It's like not, I know some vehicles sort of had it, but then they had like they didn't have the 2-piece fold-ups thing. They had like a side piece and then the other piece pulled out, if you know what I mean. They had like a little stay. I just can't quite work it out, so hopefully I might get some info back on them and obviously get them back into shape before obviously, you know, as we're going through it. But I can't take them off because they're riveted in there and welded on, so I've got to leave them there. But anyway, I'll carry on and come back to you shortly. Right, I'll try that again. So I'm still waiting on this rust killer stuff to go off. I actually run around it just before with a wire wheel on the grinder just to try and see if I can clean some of it off, but it was sort of almost still wet, kind of like this, but it wasn't really taking it off, so it's got to almost go like this, and then I've got to try and clean it off again, which is a bit of a pain, but it needs to be done just to neutralise that any rust that's in the, obviously the grain and the pores of the steel, and then even the pitting, you know, pitted spots and stuff like this. Now you can see where it's gone black, so it's obviously neutralising any left rust in the steel. But yeah, I just want to try and get it cleaned back, hopefully before, you know, or by 1 o'clock if I can, so I can go home and have a break for the rest of the day, and then hopefully come back here tomorrow and try and finish I'll try and might do some more of this shortly. That's pretty much the only piece I've got to do. I've done, and I've still got to do the inside of there too, don't I? That's right. So, but yeah, I've painted this stuff in here too in places, like on the back of that, and I haven't really done in here, except I have done just the edges of this. But I've got to go clean all the crap out of here before. I've still got to wire wheel the back of this. I don't want to use that Scotch-Brite until the last, and also we'll use the DA if I need to at the last. Well, sunlight, not that it's that bright, it's overcast, but it's just enough to be annoying. So yeah, hopefully I can get this cleaned up so we can get this thing etched tomorrow or Tuesday. Just depends on a couple other bits and pieces. We need to get a hose, and I want to get some prep wash to wipe it down with. Actually, I need to get some. I need to get a bunch of clean rags, so I can obviously wipe down stuff. And I obviously need to have a bloody good clean up in here. I'm not going to panic about making a booth just right at the moment, but when we get into priming and stuff like that, I might get a hold of those plastic drop cloths and make a booth in one of the fronts of these bays. Hopefully I might be able to make it in this one. It depends on what we can do with this tractor. And just set up a makeshift booth out of, I don't know, some of those drop cloths and maybe some light timber or something like that, just so I can get it in there and it's sealed from the top, and obviously have a fan and, you know, some sort of filtration possibly on it to paint stuff. And I don't know whether I'll leave it sort of half by set up or not for just painting stuff in, but also have it so I can, you know, put something in there if I need to, or whatever. But you try and have a slightly clean up the spot in here. That's the worst thing with all this other crap in here. It makes it very hard to try and get a decent clean area. It's either that or I'll clean this section up really well and probably just mist the floor some water and spray it in here. I don't know, we'll just see, because I don't really want to overspray over everything too when we do go to do, you know, high build and final coats and clear and whatever else, depending on whether we do a single stage or base coat clear coat. It probably will be just single stage, I'd imagine, like a single stage 2-pack, just because it'll be a solid colour, I'd imagine. It might be metallic, so it might have clear on it, but I imagine it might be just single stage 2-pack, if you know what I mean, or just base, you know what I mean. I'm just trying to get myself confused, I think. So yeah, I'll try and just, yeah, hopefully this will dry off a bit more, because it sort of goes sticky, this stuff. So yeah, I've got to try and clean it off again and get it clean. But it needs to be done. It's one of those yucky, horrible steps. But you sort of get all the steel cleaned up and then you treat it with a rust treater, and just to make sure it is neutralised. Yeah, because I'll do in the back of here, but I might do that after I've done the outside, if you know what I mean, because I've still got to get this stuff off. I've still got to get seam sealer and stuff, so that needs to be sort of done, possibly separate in the back of there. I can probably do in here. It's no biggie, you know, it's not a be all and end all to try and get it done in there too. That's no big dramas. We're still early stages, so it's not going to matter. But yeah, anyway, I'll let the stuff dry off and we'll come back to you. Righty, well, it doesn't look any different to what I did earlier on, but I've put that rust treatment on it. I've cleaned it off. I've Scotch-Brite padded it again. I've wire wheeled it and I've DA'd it. So it should be good once it's had a good blowdown and a wipe down, ready for etch once we get a couple of other things sorted out. So yeah, I've still got to obviously finish it in there and seal up in here, but the rest of it should be all ready to go. Like in here's all done. You know, that's all sorted. I might have to give it a light rub and maybe the corners just with the wee bit of hand sanding just to clean up any corners or edges that I can't get into with obviously wire wheels and DAs and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think we're ready to go with etch. I was just talking to Dave in Australia with the other Studebaker that's like this, with the soft top. Yeah, he's either not even on his. The The only thing he can think that they possibly were for is maybe if you had the hood open, you could have both sides up at the same time, and maybe that's set like that. But it's a bit of a weird thing, like it's got these like little sponge fun things in there, so yeah, it's a bit of an oddball. I don't really know what they're for, but that's quite a possibility, you know, to have the two sides up like that, and like they could have them both open at the same time. It might have been one of those rare options that somebody might have ordered to put on it, you know, that because that one definitely hasn't got it, and all his vehicles haven't got it. Like he's got a roadster and a truck and, well, van, whatever you want to call it, and the one that's like this, and none of them have got it, so it might be a rare option. Yeah, like we either take them off or we leave them there. I don't know. That's a bit of a weird one, but yeah, I can't understand why the felt's in there. Like it doesn't really do anything. Like if you had the sides open, maybe it's meant to sit there, you know, meant to sit on that edge and doesn't get scratched. I reckon that's possibly what it's meant to be. That's probably meant to be bent over a wee bit more. Like I can probably come along and straighten them and put a bit of felt in that one and leave them there. But that's the only thing that we can think that they might be for. Just, yeah, they're like a little extra stay thing just to have both sides open at the same time. Otherwise they would normally lie right over, if you know what I mean. So that side would be right over here instead of standing up. But not very often you'd actually want to have both panels actually sitting together, because they'd actually rub in the middle. Now it'd have to be a really nice calm day to do it. But that's where we're at. We'll leave it there, I think. I don't think I'll give it a light sand around the edges and bits and pieces just with a bit of paper, but yeah, you're not going to see anything different, so there's not much point in me coming back. And I'm just about out of time for the day. I've pretty much achieved what I wanted to do. I wanted to get it rust treated again with this stuff, rust remover metal conditioner. I don't know if this is unique to just New Zealand. I know it's made in New Zealand, but there's similar products out there. I know Australia's got one they call Anti-Ox, which does this very similar thing. I've used that. They're all a bit of a prick of a thing to get off again. They sort of come up sort of quite sticky. Well, that one does. It's quite sticky when it sort of dries, so it takes a wee bit of getting rid of. But I think it's well worth doing. It just stops any of that rust that's in those pores and cracks and welds and bits and pieces coming back through. You know, hopefully by tomorrow or the Tuesday, yeah, we got some etch on this, and it shouldn't ever come back within reason, if you know what I mean. So I think we've got it. Hopefully that should be good. Yeah, and that's the first step to painted, hopefully. And yeah, I took the brackets out of the back. I didn't undo that bar right off. I just undid that screw and just let it sit there, so I can screw that screw back into that just to stop it from sagging back if I need to. But I've got blocks of wood underneath there, so it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, because the first start off I didn't. But yeah, that's cool. So you might just give it a wee light round, just hand sand around some of these edges and stuff like that, and then write a note on it: please do not touch. Right guys, cheers. Morning guys, so welcome back. It's Monday. I think I'm just going to have a bit of a sort round and change around a little bit. But we've got the manifold on the wall, which I mentioned a little bit yesterday, for air, obviously for spraying and power tools, and it'll be good for that blasting cabinet too, because the moisture won't get into that so much and things like that. So that'll be really helpful. But I think I need to have a change around here and just organise things a little bit better. When I get a chance, I'm actually going to bring a set of old just dresser drawers for putting your clothes in here. I've got a couple of sets in the garage, or shed, whatever you want to call it, to put my toolbox on, just gain a little bit more beat space too. So I'm thinking about bringing that over to here somewhere. I'd love a roll cab, but just at the moment, just not my finances. So the old drawers will be good, because I I can still throw tools and stuff in it. It's just not ideal, if you know what I mean. But it'd be better than nothing. And I might bring the blasting cabinet over here a bit and have that compressor in there so it's away from the grit a little bit, because I noticed that when you open the door it sort of falls on top of it, which is probably not ideal. Just to keep it so it's not sucking in too much dirt. Supposedly, like, the filters are pretty good on it. It's actually got proper little paper, proper paper, like air filters on it. Not, again, not those horrible, sometimes, especially the one that I had in Australia, had like a gauze, sort of like, actually, where's me? Like those frickin' these things here. Basically, the stuff that's on this, the compressor I had in Australia had filters a bit like this, and they weren't much more closed up than that, if you know what I mean. Like, they're a bit finer, but not a lot. Personally, I think that's a very, very, if you're going to use that for an air filter on something, it's a very poor design. It just doesn't stop that fine shit getting into the compressor, because yeah, the compressor I had in Australia, after I'd been running it a long time, and I was sanding and blasting underneath the car, it got quite wheezy, like it started blowing oil through the lines after 18 months. But I've had other compressors and run for years and years and years and years and years. You know, pull the filter out of it every, say, 12 months or whatever, and give it a blow out and a clean out. Put it back in like a paper style filter, or the old compressor I used to have, which used to be Dad's, which he got off somebody else like 40 years ago. I think Dad might have put another set of rings in it and rebought it like way back. But it had felt, it had like a big layer of felt filters in it, which was really, really good. You just got them out, just clean them. Basically, just put them in a thing of water, give them a good clean out, you know, let them dry obviously, hang them up and clothesline, let them air out, dry out, bang them back in, away it goes again. Like, that's a good design of filter. But yeah, these gauze things, the thing they remind me of is fish tanks. Sometimes they have like a sort of that same sort of gauzy, meshy filters in them, like in the pumps, that helps stop resurgent of some of that crap going through, like picks up a lot of the shit that's actually in the water, so it gets stuck in that filter. That's the sort of things that remind me of, like some of those filters that I've seen in some of those cheap air compressors. Like that wee 3-horse twin cylinder thing I had in Australia was good, but yeah, I don't know, it just had a real poor air system, air filtration system. I'll show you what I mean. I'm pretty sure that these over here are a proper paper filter. I pulled one off there a wee while ago, I think, just to have a look. Because I couldn't remember when we put them on, you know what I mean. We sort of got it here, and I think they might have been on it, I can't remember. But I'll show you, because people had to go at me for, you know, I posted the video up and was saying, you know, these are a poor design, and people go, oh yeah, but you got to clean them out every few months. Well, yeah, sure, that's fine, but they should be better than that. They're a piss poor design, you know. If I'd realised that what was in there, I probably would have changed them, but because this has got nice cast iron cylinders on it too, so yeah, this is a perfect example. A proper little paper filter, you know, that will actually stop small particles. Give it a blow out every now and again, throw it back in, away you go. Now, if you have to, probably needs a clean out, but yeah, like that's a proper little paper filter. It's going to stop shit from getting into the centre and, you know, actually stop crap. But anyway, I'll put that back on. Yeah, like sometimes it's just like, it's a no-brainer, you know. So if you're getting an air compressor and you haven't really had one before, or it's not something you thought of, you just have a look at what the air filters are like. If they haven't got like a paper type sort of style filter in them, or something very similar, like a really, really like, and I mean, I've seen, you know, some of the old, some of like twin carb air filters they used to put, like those sock type air filters they used to put on cars. Yeah, that sort of thing. I thought it was really, really fine, and I mean really fine. And they had, sometimes they had like a more heavy gauzy one, then they had like a real fine one, then they even had a finer one again, like in amongst the layers. They're good because they actually stop the shit getting through. But this thing was like, yeah, it was like that 3M Scotch Brite. It was like so open. It was, you know, you may as well throw it away, in my personal opinion. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to have a shuffle around, and then I'll start having to clean up some of these other bits and pieces, because again, still organising some extra air line and some fittings, some bits and pieces, just so we can use it through the manifold. We've had it plugged in, but we can't really draw off it because we haven't got another hose put on it. So yeah, it's holding pressure fine and all that sort of stuff. That's cool. But yeah, I need that, and then I'm basically ready to go with that. I did actually, I think on yesterday, I had a quick scuff around the back on them. Yeah, I did have a quick scuff around on the back of here. I might give it another go, maybe by hand, just to get some of the awkward spots, and right down the bottom, because it's very awkward to get down there. I will need to mask some of this off, obviously, so I don't get paint all over the floor. But I was actually thinking, because there's exposed wood in here, it mightn't actually hurt just to etch everything, clean it up. I might give it a wipe down and whatever, maybe give it a scuff. And I don't think it'll actually hurt if I actually spray the etch on the wood, because it'll help stop moisture and stuff getting into it, because this has been all been painted with something. So I'll probably paint it all again. I'm not sure what it would have been painted with, but I think automotive etch will be fine. It'll help seal it. I actually did that on the inside of the door that I made. Where's my one? Yeah, this one. See, I sort of half-pie sprayed the wood because I blew the inside frame. I think I sprayed the back side of the wood too, just to help seal it up when I put that skin on that. So yeah. Oh yeah, it was because, yeah, the metal pieces that I screwed to the wood, I sprayed all those pieces individually, put them all on and sprayed it again and whatever, you know what I mean? Help seal it up. So, and I probably will do the same underneath here. Spray all this stuff too, just to help, just seal it. And, you know, one more step, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, I'll have it sorted out and I'll come back to you. I need to have a bit of an organised and get things a bit more situated better. And again, I need to just have a declutter, because I've got tools and crap and shit everywhere again, just from pulling stuff off, and I've just stacked stuff. I put a lot of nuts and bolts in bags, but I need to go through and just sort out some of the other loose stuff that I didn't get. I sort of started pulling out and just sitting there. I know what most of them are, so that's cool. I'll just get them in bags, in the bags that they're meant to be in, for like door screws and stuff like that, so I just don't get, just so it's easier to find them, if you know what I mean. That's, yeah, definitely a good trick. And just write on it whether it's doors or whatever, yeah. Plastic, those plastic sort of like sandwich bags are great. You know, just write on it what they're for. And this is like with some of the door stuff. So I'll just write door screws on here, and when you're going to put it back together, you just pick up the bag and go, oh yeah, it's door screws. And you start screwing them on. Nothing worse than having a whole mess load of stuff and going, right, what was that for? What was that for? Okay, it's a bag of bolts, and it's, yeah, that looks like it might be the right stuff, and then you pick up another bag and you go, especially like in modern vehicles, you know, you pull a whole heap of stuff out of a door, you know, and you've got 4 doors, and you go, well, which ones were they out of? Just easy, you know, mark a pen and just write on it, you know, left front door, right front door, whatever, you know. Or doors, you know, and just put them all in, you know, whatever, just nuts, bolts, screws, and right on the parts that are, you know, especially like the little linkages and stuff like that, you know, bit of masking tape or something around it, and just you know, left front door, right front door, left front door, right front door, whatever. You know, just so, just in case they do happen to be look the same, but they're twisted a different way or something like that, so they're not interchangeable, if you know what I mean. But I'll stop waffling. I'm good at that. Oh, well, I think I got this air manifold sorted out. Unfortunately, when he put this on, he had it backwards, because they're only one direction. It was pissing air out everywhere, and I was going, man, is it like leaking air, or is it just something not right? And then I pulled it off, and then I realised that you had the in and the out round backwards, so it was always trying to bleed air off. Obviously for you know your air adjustment for your pressure. So yeah, I've got that sorted. We had one of those curly hoses here just to hook up to it. So I just put a bit of thread tape on them because they were leaking too, just to stop the compressor from going all the time, obviously. But yeah, works perfectly. So if you know, before you go to spray, you can drain the compressor, obviously. But you can also just come along and just, I know this is probably going to be loud, but you can just make sure there's no air sitting in these lines, and you know you're sweet, you know. So hopefully by the time all the air, any moisture will sit in the bottom, and hopefully a bigger one would be nice, but hopefully the any last little bit of moisture be in here, and it'll be very minimal and nothing should come through. Well, hopefully nothing, you know, if you know what I mean. So that's cool. So only test the time will tell. If worst comes to worst, we'll just put a better water trap, you know, air filter sort of system in there. But that should alleviate quite a bit of the problem by the time the air goes around there, because it starts cooling down there and the moisture sits in the bottom. So hopefully we get nothing coming through the system anyway. So it can only help. So anyway, I'll keep tidying up. Yeah, because I plugged that in because we sorted that cable out. Yeah, and I was like, man, what's going on here? But yeah, then I realised he had the thing around the wrong way, so I had to put the gauge on the other side and all that sort of stuff. So, but got that sorted, so that's cool. So I'll carry on sorting out. Other way updating this thing, I wound it up full pressure on the regulator, and I try to run something off it just to obviously test the flow. It's not very high, so I've just set it for spraying. I've got it set at 40 pound, and when I pull the trigger it's holding about 30, so I'll just have to play with it a little bit till I get it where I want it. So I'm just going to run the main, when I'm just using tools and stuff like that, I'll just have to run it off the other fitting on the main thing. It doesn't seem to, you know, cut it back as much, so it's perfect for spraying anyway. It would be nice to have maybe a higher flow regulator. We can work on that later on, but it's going to be fine for spraying. I sat there for probably 5 or 10 minutes just letting it run, and just, you know, just keep mimicking spraying with just an air gun, and yeah, it never dropped once I'd set it at about 28, 29 psi. It never dropped from that, you know, once I've sort of got the motion going. So yeah, I think if it's set at about 40 on the thing, but you know, once you're actually spraying, so just obviously pull the trigger, just let a bit of air off, and then obviously let the fluid come through, and yeah, you'd be spraying it basically 30 psi all the time, or, you know, 29. Obviously it depends on what you're spraying and what pressure you want to spray it, but I find that seems to be about the nice sort of spraying for my guns. Obviously it depends on what you're spraying to. You can up the pressure or down the pressure, obviously whatever you want to spray, but yeah. So that's an update on that. God, that camera's greasy, isn't it? Jeez, I want to do the whites. Is that better? That's a little bit better. So yeah. So I probably will need, if I want to run tools through it, air tools and stuff through it, I'll probably have to get a better trap. But it's just what the owner of this vehicle came up with. I did suggest other things, but I suppose, you know, he's the one paying for the most of the gear, which is really good. That helps me out hugely. It's getting me back on my feet, and then obviously I'm just, as we get going and do other vehicles, then we've got an arrangement sorted out for, obviously, for rental of gear and the building and whatever else to use. So, and that's why he's going to extend it, so to give me a little bit more room to work in. So yeah, I only really want to have a couple of vehicles here, maybe at a time, maybe 3 tops. Otherwise, it's just not enough space. Otherwise, I'm taking over the whole shed, if you know what I mean. But I think he's talking about putting another couple of whole full bays on the other end, so that'd be quite nice. And actually, to be honest, I wouldn't mind if I could get it to work. If I could have that piece there, I'd actually set it up as a plastic booth. You know, that would be perfect because it's got the floor in it, so it cuts the air volume down. You know, you just put a shitload of lights in there, and obviously put a drop cloth at the top, drop cloth around the sides, and have it so you can either zip it or pull it back or something, you know, just so it's, you end up with a nice clean environment. So that's a possibility if I end up taking over the whole shed, if I stay here and don't go to the States, if you know what I mean. So we're working on it. It's one of those things, and it's, you know, he's happy to help support me, so that's cool. Really cool guy, this guy. And we haven't actually talked about it for quite a while, but he did. I'm gonna say it now because it's been a while since, but he even offered to for me to basically build my version of Rogue, which is the car I helped Arco and Heidi design, along with, you know, a couple of other people that were in amongst the design work at other points, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that would be really, really cool to build that. He said he's quite happy to help maybe finance that, so that would be pretty sick. But yeah, we'll see how things go over the next few months. I don't want to start building something like that and then we go to the States, whereas if I can get this finished and maybe a couple other cars finished, well, at least it's given me a really good thing to get going on. And a lot of the gear he would have no problems at selling or whatever, to moving on to somebody else that may want it or need it or whatever, you know what I mean. There's plenty of guys, he's got a few guys around here that are doing this similar sort of work, so the market's obviously there for it. It's just a matter to keep it going, so we'll just see how things go. You know, I'll keep cleaning up. Righty, I was just shifting some stuff around in here. I actually just moved some old wool sacks, if you know what I mean. Turn the camera on. Those sack-looking things that are near the end of my finger, I was just moving some stuff around so I can move some old car parts out of the road down here, so I can just have a bit of a shuffle around, trying to get a little bit more space, so I got a little bit more space to work, and I can get some of the other stuff out of my way. And I was just moving that stuff, and I was like, because I actually sent a message to the owner from when he's getting paint and stuff like that. My mask, I've been using the filters I've got just for sanding and stuff like that, so we don't get dust in my lungs, obviously. But I haven't had a fresh set for a while, so I just said, oh, can you get me some new filters? It's like, I picked up those sacks and moved them away, and he's like, oh, what's that? A set of filters for my mask, and it's the right variation too. It's the right ones for spraying 2-pack paint. So I don't actually need them, but if he does buy me another set, well, at least I've got another spare set for other stuff, because they don't last very long for actually spraying 2-pack. You've got a certain amount of time to use them, otherwise then they don't actually stop the bad carcinogenics getting through. But that's when after I've used them for a wee while for spraying, then I will use them just for dirty work, for sanding, all that sort of stuff, and keeping another clean set, new set, and normally in my box to, for when I next got to spray paint again, so I've always got a nice fresh set. So after I've done, probably a full paint job or something like that, then I'll replace my filters, depending on obviously how much spraying I do in doing that. I might go through a couple of sets of filters, but always keep an old set for just dirty work, sanding, all the sort of crap that you don't want, the shit in your lungs that doesn't actually need to stop bad chemicals, it just needs to stop dust and dirt and crap. So, but that's perfect. Well, I've actually got another set of filters here. So, yeah, that's cool. But if he gets me another set, I won't worry about it. But yeah, very handy. Righty, quick update. So I've been had a bit of a rearrange. So I've got that belt sander over here. I've moved this over a little bit because we put the manifold up on the wall. I've shoved the compressor underneath the bench. I haven't moved too much else in around here, but I've had a huge bloody clean up. I've moved a lot of crap that was sitting here over to the other side, no, on the far side of that old other old Studebaker, or on this side. I've moved sort of this stuff back. I've picked up a lot of the bigger parts and I've sort of sat them in around here so they're out of the road but accessible. I haven't tidied any of the benches up yet, but I've just been cleaning the bloody floor. Trying to get rid of as much dust and dirt as possible. Been even sweeping over the other side. Just trying to have a big go around, hold on. So yeah, I've been trying to have a big go around, trying to have a huge sweep up and clean up. Then I will go, I think that's basically what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to go clean all this crap up. I'll clean all my tools up, sort everything else out, blow down, sweep up again, and then hopefully overnight it settles, and then I might have a final bit of a sweep up and wipe up again, and obviously blow the body down it. And then because I've got some filters here, I can spray. Because I've got the manifold working, I've got an air line. So yeah, well I think we're right. We're just, because basically what I can do, if I need extra length for the air hose, I'll just plug the blue one, because I've got it plugged into here at the moment for obviously for higher air pressure, so I can just swap that from there up to there and get my water trap system working. But I've still got the big hose reel for length if I need it, because that blue hose isn't terribly long. It won't quite reach to sort of the door area, if you know what I mean, but this one here will reach all the way into the shed and back. There's quite a lot of hose in that, so that'll be perfect for spraying, I think. And it also gives me a bit more volume of air. But yeah, I'm just trying to get a decent clean up. I've just been sweeping and sweeping and sweeping, and I think this is the second go. Well, this is the first go around there, but it's the second go through here, because I've gone around and I had a good blow down with the ear, and I sort of blew a lot of junk out from underneath places and stuff like that. So I'm sort of trying to get rid of as much crap as possible. Unfortunately it's very windy, so it's not helping, but I've got the big door open, and then I've just got the little side door open to try and funnel any crap out, just to keep the air clear in here, just to help obviously when I'm sweeping, just to try and blow any excess that's floating around in the air out that door. Since the window's coming from that direction, so that helps. But yeah, so I'll keep sweeping and keep cleaning up. Yeah, and I think if I get a chance to do some more work later on today, I will. But I think that's what I'm going to be doing today, is just cleaning and then put the tools away, and then I'll have another blow down, sweep up, and then I might come down here later on tonight and have another sweep up, and then hopefully by in the morning it's settled enough in here, and anything that has settled, then I can just give that a light blow down and wipe down, and I should be okay to etch it. I just don't. I know it's probably the most critical stage, but it's probably like a little bit of dust in the etch is probably not going to be a major killer, but if I can prevent anything getting into it, the better. And as you know, in here it's been bloody dirty. It doesn't really help that I've let it get really dirty in here before I sort of got here. I've slowly been creeping that way and getting it clean, more and more cleaned up. But yeah, so yeah, I've still got a lot of shit over on that side. I might actually sweep a lot of it outside maybe later on, just what I can off the floor, just to try and get rid of the worst of it. But yeah, so it's not blowing around. But yeah, when I'm spraying here, yeah, we'll have the doors down, so at least there won't be anything whipping around, even if it is a wee bit windy outside. But yeah, so that's cool. But yeah, I just want to try and get rid of the worst of this shit out of here, and try and get a decent clean up and blow everything down, just dust everything down, just to try and get rid of that extra dust in the air that could float around. I'll put a fire extinguisher on there. There's another couple over there. So yeah, I do have them here. There's just they've never been put up anywhere, so I just throw that one up there, so it's sort of nice and handy in the middle. And there's another couple of little ones actually from that thing over there. Actually, you can see them behind the hose reel, so I'll attach them up somewhere at some point too, so they're handy. Might put one over on that post, and maybe might even put one over near by the door. Might put one over in that corner where you come in, or something like that, just so there's one handy there. And I think that'll Those 3 should be plenty. They're not big rated ones, but hopefully we never need them. Righty, so I think I've finished cleaning crap and whatever until maybe tomorrow morning. I'll have a final sweep up and maybe just a general blow down around the body. Pretty much I'm ready to go. I've just got my gun that I would normally use for etch or epoxy or whatever. Got that going. Or just stripped it down to make sure it was properly clean. It's a 1.4mm, 1.4. I've got a 1.3 and a 1.8. I think the other one is the one I use for high build. So yeah, I've just got the regulators out, and I'm just doing just blowing a bit of reducer through it, checking that the fan's all right. So normally when I set my gun up, I'll normally like wind the fluid once I've had it apart. Typical. Today. Hello. That's better. Right. So normally what I do after I strip down the gun and set it back up again, ready to paint, I normally put it on full fan. Well, yeah, normally it's all on full fan or almost on your fan control, depending on obviously where your fan control is. Make sure that the bottom, if you've got a regulator on your air line, you shouldn't have to touch your airflow on here. That's like obviously controls. You can wind sneak the pressure back a little bit on the fly if you have to. So if you're like spraying something you're not quite 100% sure of it, or 100% like it, you can just maybe back it off a little bit if that's what it needs. But normally for the needle, I normally wind that all the way in and then back it out about 3 to 4 turns and set it. And I normally, if the gun doesn't have a marker on it, I normally just put a bit of a scratch on the back of the knob or something like that, just so I know where it is when I roughly wind it out. After I wound it all the way and wind it out 3 to 4 turns, I know roughly where it is. I might have to adjust it depending on obviously the paint, whether I want it back in a little bit or back out a little bit, you've done it in. But yeah, that seems to be fairly nice there, just with obviously just with reducer in it, so that's pretty good. I'll just leave that in there for the overnight, just in case there is any other crud and stuff stuck in there. So I haven't fully stripped it apart, but I just pulled it roughly apart and gave it a check over, if you know what I mean. I haven't actually got all my spanners and stuff here for that. They're actually at Mum and Dad's with my other 2 guns, so I need to go pick some of that stuff up because I will need those other guns shortly, especially for one for high build. But yeah, I think I'm basically ready to go for tomorrow. I might come back down here later on once the air is sort of settled again and maybe have another sweep up and another blow down, but I think I'm pretty good. I've sorted out a few tools and bits and pieces. I've cleared this bench a fair bit. I haven't fully cleared it off, but I've got most of the tools away and sort of sorted out a lot of the bits and pieces and screws and stuff like that, put them into bags and just shifted stuff onto that, back onto that black table for just parts that I know will be going back on that car at some stage. There's a lot of stuff there to go through, store like other stuff, but I've just left it there in the meantime. It's not in the road or anything like that, and I may have to need a piece and clean it up or whatever, when we're getting further on with obviously assembly and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, I think that's about where I'm at today. I don't think there's much point being here much longer. I'll check the time and just see what the time's like. But I think otherwise I don't want to create any more dirt or dust here at the moment. Sometimes you're better off just to walk away and leave it. Especially if you know you're going to be painting or spraying. Like it is only etch, but if you get crap in the bottom of it, it may show through right to the top. You just never know. Like, not likely, but that first step always matters. Like if it's not clean right at the start, it's you're always going to end up with possibly problems. It's easy to make sure the area is clean and keep it clean as best you can. Obviously, if you've got it in a booth or something like that, or some sort of setup that you can actually extract the air out of there and keep it really nice and clean. And I probably won't dampen the floor tomorrow, but want to do primer and all that sort of stuff, I'll spray the floor. Maybe I might just get one of those like little pump up bottles or something like that and just mist the floor so it's damp, just to keep that dust down if there does happen to be a little bit of wind. Because I can feel a little bit of breeze in here. So like, yeah, I don't want it too windy because it is quite windy out there. So. But anyway, I think we're about done. I'll check the time and just see, but yeah, I might just have a little bit more of a tidy up. There's not much point me hanging around here for hardly anything, if you know what I mean. Might as well go home and do something else, maybe do some editing. Get another video up. Alright, cheers. Hey guys, if you need welding gas, go see the boys at Cool Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. Cool Gas, New Zealand.